By the way, everyone, test. Yeah, everyone ready? Nah, oke teman-teman, gimana? Udah clear belum suaranya Miss Vicky? Please, can you hear me? Oke, perfect, aman, ready. Oke. Yay, clear, loud and clear. Oke, tadi Miss Vicky sempat nanya sama Mr. Michael Armand. Kalau gitu tadi mungkin belum ketemu, kita sapa sekali lagi nih ya Mr. Michael Armand-nya. Hi Mr. Michael Armand.
Hello, Miss Vicky. Good morning. How are you?
I am fine, thank you. Are you great?
I am great as well.
I am great as well. What you have in the morning?
So I don't normally drink a cup of coffee, so I usually have a cup of tea
Mm-hmm.
in the morning.
You usually have a cup of, is it with milk or without milk?
No, no milk, no sugar.
Oh, fancy. So tea without milk and sugar, very British. And me, you have coffee with milk and no sugar. How about you guys? Untuk suaranya coba teman-teman jawab di kolom komentar. Biasanya kalian kalau pagi-pagi itu sarapan apa pakai bahasa Inggris dan detail ya. Pakai gula atau enggak? Pakai roti atau enggak? Come on. Kalian coba ketik di kolom komentar. Kalian sarapan apa? Because Miss Vicky sama Mr. Arman mau tahu. I usually skip breakfast. Okay, Uswa is skipping breakfast, mister. Is that? And also like bread and cheese.
Yeah, well, sometimes, very rarely, I would have a piece of bread
A piece of bread.
for breakfast.
Okay, nice. And also Fauzan also skip breakfast. I sometimes, and also Eka have, what is Eka having? Rice and fried enoki mushroom. That is a big
Okay.
breakfast. Okay, we're happy to see that you sometimes already have food and some of you haven't. But what you will have today is a time with us, and then we can learn together to do IELTS and also in the writing and also what, Mister?
Writing and speaking for today.
Writing and speaking. Oke teman-teman, sebelumnya Miss Vicky mau ingetin dulu bahwa kita juga ada di YouTube nih. Jadi selain teman-teman join di Zoom sekarang, bisa juga join di YouTube seandainya nanti tiba-tiba di tengah-tengah ada technical issue. Tinggal subscribe aja di YouTube-nya kita, IF Surabaya. Tapi ini juga terbatas untuk teman-teman dari Surabaya aja ya. Kita open for all Indonesia. Jadi teman-teman di sini yang emang pengen belajar, yang pengen dapat kelas gratis soal IELTS, kita bisa belajar bareng di sini dan pastinya nanti setelah mengikuti kelas ini, kalian akan mendapatkan e-certificate yang tertulis nama kalian telah mengikuti kelas bersama IF tentang IELTS, dan nanti sertifikat tersebut bisa banget untuk teman-teman pakai di platform manapun. Bisa dimasukin di LinkedIn, bisa dimasukin ke lowongan pekerjaan, bisa untuk melamar ke sekolah selanjutnya, dan lain-lain. Jadi pastiin untuk kalian tetap stay sampai dengan akhir acara, dan juga bisa banget untuk menyalakan kamera, jadi Miss Vicky dan juga Mr. Arman bisa ngeliat keseruan kita kayak gimana. Dan juga mohon mematikan mikrofon supaya nanti suaranya Mr. Arman ketika menjelaskan terdengar dengan jelas. Okay, everyone? So, I think we are ready to hear about the IELTS speaking and writing section. Let's go to Mr. Arman.
Okay, thank you. Let me share my screen.
Mhm.
Okay. And... All right. So I hope everyone can see my screen. Yeah.
I can see your screen.
Okay. So yeah, so today we'll be talking about some tips and tricks and just some general information about IELTS test, especially in the writing and speaking sections. Now, before that, let's find out how well you know about the writing sections. So I'm gonna have some questions, right? Can you please type in the questions? Just say A, B, C, or D. So like the first questions is how many tasks are there in the writing sections? So A for 1, B for 2, C for 3, and D for 4.
Oh, a lot of them already answering B.
Okay. I'm not going to give you the answers now. I'll give you the answers at the end of the quiz. Okay, can we move on to the next question then? All right. Question 2. How long is the writing section? A for 20 minutes, B for 40 minutes, C for 60 minutes, and D for 80 minutes.
A lot of them answering C. One is A and one is I don't know. I think I don't know.
The majority is
Okay,
okay.
yeah,
C.
the
Okay.
majority is similar C.
All right. Let's move on to question 3. So, are the tasks always the same? So, for example, task 1 is always a chart, and task 2 is always an essay.
I think I know this one.
So, A for yes, so B for no.
Oke, nah menurut teman-teman di sini, apakah kalau ngerjain writing section itu selalu sama? Soal 1 pasti akan selalu essay, soal 2 pasti akan selalu chart. Coba ketik di kolom komentar, tes kalian tahu atau enggak? Wow, it's range A and B, some no, some yes. Will you tell us?
Okay. So, and the answers for the quiz. Oops, sorry. Okay, last one.
Oh, there is
Sorry.
one last one. Okay.
So, of course, so I think this is sort of like the answer for questions 1. Yeah, so there are 2 tasks, right? But are the 2 tasks worth the same amount of marks?
Okay.
So, let's say task 1 and task 2, do they have the same scores?
Hmm,
A for yes, B for no.
oke. Biasanya kalau di tes-tes itu kan ya udah ya. Soal 1 sampai 10, kalau bener 1 poinnya 2, kalau bener 2 poinnya 4. Nah, di sini writing section menurut kalian sama nggak poinnya kalau yang salah satu bener, salah satu salah? See. A lot of them saying no.
Okay. All right, let me give you the answers. So yes, so there are 2 tasks, yeah, and the whole writing section takes 60 minutes. So it's not 60 minutes per task or per questions, but the whole thing is 60 minutes. Now, because of this, so you need to make sure that you can divide the time correctly. We will see which tasks do you need to spend more time.
It's long ya, 60 minutes.
This, but
Lama.
there are 2 tasks, so it's all right. Okay, so the first task is something like this. So this is like the general description or the general instructions of task 1. So you will be presented with a graph, a table, a chart, or a diagram, and you will be asked to describe, summarize, or explain the information in your own words. You may be asked to describe and explain data, describe the stages of a process, and how something works, or describe an object or event. And you have to write minimum of 150 words.
Okay. Mr. Armand, I want to ask. So like in this task 1, it's always gonna be shaped like this, but you don't know you will get a diagram, a table, or chart. So this is set.
Yes.
Okay.
So you cannot choose. You cannot choose whether you want to do a graph, a table, a chart, or a diagram. It's going to be one of these.
Okay, I see. Okay, that's doable.
150 words. Some people think that 150 words is a lot. It's actually not a lot. If you write like in a line, like in one single line, you will usually use, let's say, up to 12 words, right? So let's say if you have, let's say, 10 words, 150 words means that only 15 lines. So it's actually not a lot.
Okay.
When you hear something like, oh, 100 words, that's a lot. This actually not a lot.
Hmm.
So this is task one. And let me say now that task one is it's the shorter one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So an example of the question is something like this. So you will get one of this, right? So in this example, it doesn't mean that during the test you will be able to choose. No, so you'll be either, let's say, one, you get a chart, a table, or a diagram, a graph, or let's say number four, you get a picture.
okay. Can I explain it for a bit for everyone? Oke, nah teman-teman ini adalah task nomor satu. Jadi ketika kalian writing section akan dapat waktu 60 menit untuk mengerjakan dua task. Dan ini salah satunya. Nanti kalian akan dapat diagram, tabel, atau bar chart yang akan kalian dapatkan random. Jadi nggak tahu nih bentuknya kayak gimana kira-kira nanti. Oh, aku akan belajar caranya ngebaca chart terus deh. Ternyata yang muncul nanti peta. Jadi kalian sebisa mungkin adalah memahami semua jenis chart seperti yang udah dicontohkan sama Mr. Michael Armand di sini. Nah, datanya persis kayak gini nggak? Nggak juga, bisa jadi beda-beda. Ini kan ada nomor 4 tuh, cara masukin barang ke dalam truk. Nanti ada juga cara masukin apalagi yang beda, cara memasak telur atau dan lain-lain. Nah, itu bisa banget kalian dapat random. Jadi kita persiapkan bareng-bareng ya. Jadi ketika nanti kalian mau mengerjakan IELTS, bisa langsung tahu gimana cara menjawabnya, dan setelah ini Mr. Arman juga akan memberikan tips untuk menjawabnya. By the way, teman-teman, kalau seandainya kalian punya pertanyaan apapun, boleh banget langsung diketik di kolom chat box ya. Nanti kita akan lihat dan bisa kita bahas sekarang atau nanti di akhir acara. Oke, let's continue.
All right. So let's look at one example.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So if you look at the question on the right side, it says the graph below shows the number of university graduates in Canada from 1992 to 2007. So summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. So when you read the questions, you need to make sure you know what you have to do. So there are three things, yes. The first thing is to summarize the information, because when you look at the chart, you don't know what it actually means, right? So you need to make your reader understand what it actually means. And number two, you need to report the main features. So what is it about? Like, for example, here it's about the university graduates, the males and the females graduates. And then you have to make comparisons where relevant. So make comparison based on what? Like if you get the numbers, so based on how many graduates per year, like do they have more female graduates or male graduates? So remember three things: summarize, main features, and comparisons. And you are not asked to provide interpretations. So don't come up with, I think, or something that you think it's what is it about, right? So it's not your opinion, but it's what you see, what you understand from the chart. Again, do not give any reasons for the information. So your task is to compare them, not to give reasons why there are more female graduates than the male graduates, for example.
I see.
And also, don't introduce any information which is not provided. Like, for example, there is only females, males, years, and the numbers of graduates. That's it. So you don't need to provide any information. Let's say, oh, this is the university in Canada.
Population
The
in
population
Canada.
in Canada. Oh, there these female graduates, they are from English major or from economic major. As if the information not in the graphs, don't write.
Do you like sometimes see your student do?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Some students will try to write what they think. So they're like what they believe, like, oh, they will write something like, oh, I believe there are more female graduates, or because I know females are smarter, maybe, or something like that. And some students also, they could come up with something like, so they would add another information, like for example, oh yeah, there are more female graduates because according to this journal of blah 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 and so on.
Oh, that's not good.
No, that is not good because it is not the task.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so it's not task and it's not like what it's required
Okay.
in the writing.
But Mister, maybe like 150 sounds long. That's why they like making up stuff or maybe putting more information. So how to make it more long?
Okay, well, let's find out do how do you how you can make 150 words just by writing what you see. Yeah.
Okay, okay, interesting.
Okay, so first of all, what you need to do is that you need to make sure that you have a structure of the writing. So first of all, you will receive a higher score if your answer is clearly and logically organized. So use paragraphs. So don't just use this one big paragraph of 150 words. So 150 words can be divided to like 3 or 4 paragraphs, right? So each paragraph should have a clear focus. Like for example, the first paragraph should be an introduction and then overview. And then the final paragraph should be the conclusion or the summary.
Oh, I see.
Right? Now, there's that question there. So I have that question. So if you had to do this right now, so how many paragraphs would you include in your answers?
Okay.
Maybe you can type it in the chat box.
Oke, boleh coba ketik teman-teman. Kira-kira kalau kalian mau ngerjain paragraf soal ini nih sekarang banget, kalian akan bikin berapa paragraf? Oh, aku sih bakalan bikin 3 supaya simple tapi padet-padet mungkin. Jadi introduction, main, conclusion. Atau 4 mungkin. Kalau 3 terlalu dikit, Miss. 4 aja, Mister. Bla bla bla. Kira-kira kalian akan bikin berapa paragraf? 3, 4, 3, 4 paragraph. 2, maybe someone, or one big paragraph.
One big paragraph.
4, maybe 3. Say Supina, say 4, introduction,
4,
overview,
introduction, view.
paragraph A, paragraph B.
Okay.
Okay, 5 to make it concrete, say Darren.
5. Okay, let's see. Oh, sorry. Yes. Ideally should be between 3 or 4. Ideally is 4, yeah. So the first paragraph should be the introduction. The second paragraph could be the data. So how many female graduates and how many males graduates per year, and the fact that it increased, yeah. And the third paragraph can be the comparison.
I see.
And the last paragraph is the conclusion or the summary or the overview of the graphs.
Okay.
So yeah.
I'll type it here.
Okay. So remember that you need to stick to the task because it's very important. But there's also other things that you need to pay attention if you want to get a good mark in IELTS writing. So yeah, so the first one is the task achievement. The second one is the coherence and the cohesion. So coherence and cohesion, it might be, these are 2 words that might be new to you. Maybe some of you can type in the comments if some of you know what coherence and cohesion mean.
Coherence and cohesion. Apa ya? Kalian ada yang tahu nggak? Coba bantuin, terus coba jelasin. Mungkin di sini ada yang expert dengan bahasa Indonesia dan bahasa Inggris. What is coherent and cohesion? Coherent, something about make sense?
Ya,
Ada yang tahu nggak? Coherent itu artinya apa? Cohesion itu artinya apa? Saling berkaitan, oke. Related idea each other, say Muhammad Afkar.
okay. Okay,
Go.
so I think in general you understand, but which one is the coherence, which one is the cohesion? Because those two are related, but they're not actually the same thing.
Oh, is that? Oh ya. Supina say nyambung dan menggunakan kata yang tepat. So maybe coherence is nyambung and cohesion is using the right words.
Yeah, okay. So coherence is when you write, you need to make sure that the sentences in each paragraph, they are connected. And also each paragraphs are connected. So you don't like write paragraph, like the first paragraph, the second paragraph are totally unrelated. That is coherence. And cohesion is how you do that. So cohesion is the choice of words. So using
I see.
conjunctions, so you using um well, the simple examples are like using but and so on.
Oh.
But of course, don't use the same words over and over again. Of course, using just a word like but and or. They're not wrong, but they're like very basic.
I see.
And also don't try to avoid using like first, next, second,
Oh,
then. I mean,
it's not good.
again, those are not wrong, but those are just very basic.
Oh, so you will show to the tester that you only know basic
Yes.
English,
So yeah,
yeah.
so that is related to the third one is the lexical resource. Lexical resource is your choice of words. Um, so using like basic words like that, like those, so like and or but, it's again not wrong, but
Mm-mm.
also doesn't really show how well your English is.
Mm.
Even if you want to use those, just use it once or twice. Don't use and or the whole thing. Yeah. Um, like using you need to also make different words that have the same meaning that will also help you in the lexical resource. And
Okay.
also your grammatical range and accuracy.
Penting ya kalau itu.
Yeah.
Obvious.
So grammatical range and accuracy means that the range of your grammar, so don't use all present simple,
Mm-mm.
all past tense. If you want to, if it's something, if the report something in that happened in the past, you can use past simple, past perfect, past continuous, so on. So try to use different words, different grammar, and make sure that it's correct.
Oke, I see. Nah, oke teman-teman, eh, empat area yang tadi barusan dijelasin sama Mr. Michael Arman, kira-kira kalian kan udah bikin nih essay. Oke, kira-kira empat paragraf yang paling oke supaya flow-nya itu enak. Nah, yang dinilai itu apa sih sama tim IELTS untuk ngetes kira-kira writing-nya kalian itu bagus atau enggak, make sense atau enggak. Yang pertama itu tadi, task achievement, bener nggak udah 150 kata? Bener nggak menjelaskan tentang datanya? Kalian nggak opini, pakai opini lah, pakai jurnal lainnya lah, atau masukkan data-data segala macam. Nah, itu yang pertama dinilai. Yang kedua adalah coherence dan cohesion, yang kalian udah jawab tadi. Bener banget kata kalian bahwa nyambung atau enggak dari paragraf satu ke paragraf lainnya, atau kata kalimat satu ke kalimat lainnya. Dan juga cohesionnya, yaitu menggunakan kata-kata yang tepat atau vocabulary yang tepat untuk menyambungkan dari satu ke yang lainnya. Itu coherent dan cohesion tadi katanya Mr. Michael Arman. Dan juga yang ketiga adalah lexical course. Vocabulary kalian oke atau enggak, atau kalian pakai yang basic-basic aja nih. Nah, ini juga jadi penilaian penting untuk menentukan kira-kira writing kalian itu seoke apa by IELTS team. Yang terakhir adalah of course grammatical range dan accuracy. Kalian kira-kira pakai is, am atau are nih ketika ada suatu subjek tepat atau enggak, were atau was dan lain-lain tergantung apa yang mau kalian katakan. Yang itu juga cukup penting untuk kalian perhatikan. Jadi kalau seandainya memang kalian mau banget nih untuk dapat skor yang tinggi di task pertama ini, pastikan bahwa kalian terus-terusan latihan di hal-hal yang barusan dijelaskan sama Mr. Michael Arman. Oke, Mister.
Okay. So just general guidance tips for task one.
Oke.
So the first thing you need to do, please make sure that you read, well, will see and read and analyze the visual aids. So whether it's diagrams or graphs or a picture or a chart, make sure that you read them carefully. You need to analyze and understand, make sure that you know everything that's in there. So if we go back to the previous example, so make sure that you include the years, the numbers, and it says the University of Canada, right? If, for example, in the actual task, there's a specific name of the university, then you also need to include that. Plan fast and well. Again, because there are two tasks. This is the first task, and like I said earlier, like this is the easier task, so you need to plan fast and well because you only have 60 minutes, which means that you cannot do just 30 and 30. You might want to spend less on task one. And the reason why is that when we go to task two, right? So write overview with the 3 or 4 main features, like with the previous example. So the features, yeah. So the years, the number of students, and the comparison between the male and the female. Of course, you need to paraphrase the topic questions.
Oh.
So don't just copy and paste the questions on the task, but you need to change the questions in your own words. Yeah, use appropriate vocabulary, proofread and edit, and check spelling and grammar. So this is the tips during the test, right? So once you write everything, make sure that you proofread and then edit. So make sure that in case you forget certain words, maybe you forget to put full stop or comma or capital letters and so on. Again, check spelling and grammar. So this is during the test. Of course, during like the practice test or during the course, if you have someone with you, if you have like other students with you, you can always, like your teacher usually will ask you to proofread your friend's answer. That is also helpful, so you can get like different perspectives, like different point of view. But for during the test, yeah, it is important for you to read. So don't just like, okay, finish and that's it, and you move on to the next task. Make sure that you read everything.
Always check and check
Yeah,
again.
check.
Oke. Menarik banget semua tips yang dikasih sama Mr. Michael Arman. Miss Vicky sendiri sih nggak bakal tahu gimana ngerjainnya kalau memang nggak ada heads up nih caranya gimana. Nah, teman-teman juga nggak perlu screenshot atau apapun ya. Boleh banget nyatet seandainya kalian memang ngerasa bahwa, oh kalau aku catat nanti aku bisa lebih paham lagi. Ini juga videonya bisa diakses kapan aja di YouTube kita IF Surabaya. Kalian bisa subscribe, bisa nemuin video hari ini termasuk juga video IF Talks sebelumnya. Seandainya kalian penasaran sama mau coba belajar grammar lebih lanjut atau mau memperbanyak vocabulary, bisa banget kalian terus-terusan kepoin YouTube kita, TikTok, ataupun Instagram karena di sana banyak banget tips menarik untuk menambah kemampuan bahasa Inggris kalian. Okay, everyone, is that all about task one, Mister?
Yes. Let's see.
Let's go to task two.
Task two.
Okay.
Again, 60 minutes for the whole thing, yeah? So task one, 150 words. Task two, 250 words. That's what I said earlier. You need to spend more time on this. And this is the reason why, if you still remember the quiz in the beginning, so task two worth more points. So task two actually worth like twice the points of task one. That's why you need to also spend more time. Now, in task one, you only need to write what is presented to you. Task 2, you will be asked to write an essay in response to a point of view, argument, or a problem. So task 1, you're not allowed to write about your opinion. This is the time when you can write, or more like you have to write about your own opinion, what you think about a certain point of view or about a case or a problem.
Oh, I see. And 250,
250 words.
250 kata. Panjang banget ya, teman-teman. Tapi jangan sedih, karena Mr. Michael Armand akan ngasih tahu kira-kira gimana caranya untuk bikin 250 kata menggunakan opini kalian.
Okay, let's look at an example.
Okay.
So this is generally what the writing, your writing is going to look like. So your opinion, to what extent do you agree or disagree, in a way that you don't want to just write about, yes, I agree about this, or I disagree about it, that's it. So to what extent, right? Because in real life as well, once you agree on something, you don't just like 100% agree on this. Or if you don't like something, you don't like, oh, I 100% hate this, or I 100% disagree with this, right? This is where the next one is the discussion. What are the benefits and the drawbacks? What are the plus points and the minus points of each point of view? And of course, you need to discuss both views and give your opinion. So let's say, so you need to also discuss the pros and the cons, but then give your opinion. So at the end of your writing, you need to choose one, but you still need to discuss both. And the situations is what the problems and what solutions can you suggest. Okay, an example question will look like this. So it says you should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Yeah, so 60 minutes, so that means 20 minutes on task 1, 40 minutes on task 2. Again, because task 2 requires more words and it is worth more points. So an example is an international tourism has brought enormous benefit to many places. At the same time, there's a concern about its impact on local inhabitants and the environment. Do the disadvantages of international tourism outweigh the advantages?
Okay.
Give reasons for your answer and include any relevant example from your own knowledge or experience. So, like I said earlier, you still need to discuss the advantages and the disadvantages. But you also need to answer the questions. Do the advantages of international tourism outweigh the advantages? So it's up to you if you think that the advantages or like you think that the advantages is but it's bigger than the advantages, then the disadvantages, it's up to you, as long as you can provide and write sufficient information or sufficient opinion
to support the argument.
your writing, your arguments.
I see. Mister, so like, is that mean that it doesn't matter whether we actually giving good opinion or not? Like, as in, opinion is subjective, right? We can say like, oh yeah, I like tourism because it makes the local get a lot of money, blah blah blah, and then we just want to fully support that in our passage, or we have to balance it, and like, so it doesn't matter, or it matter whether which one is better?
Yeah, so like this one, right? So to what extent you agree or disagree? So to what extent you agree with the tourism, right? To what extent you think that the advantages is bigger than the disadvantages? And then what are the benefits of having tourisms? What are the drawbacks of having tourism?
Oh, so you have to repeat
Yes,
that
so you repeat.
information.
You can have both. Of course, I think what you were asking, which is like, let's say if I disagree, like I think that tourism brings more disadvantages. So yeah, I will need to provide more information or opinion about the disadvantages, but I still need to write about the advantages.
Oh, I see. Oke, teman-teman. Nah, ini tadi juga ada pertanyaan kan, kalau seandainya agree atau disagree, itu kalian cuma nulis, seandainya kalian ditanyain ya, setuju atau enggak kalau tourism itu terjadi di kota kalian. Terus habis itu kalian, aku udah nggak suka, nggak mau, pokoknya aku tidak setuju. Nah, di IELTS test ini, meskipun kalian stand in one point, dan kalian juga mau mengenhance point tersebut, kalian juga oke banget untuk mention kenapa mungkin hal tersebut itu disetujui sama orang lain. Jadinya kalian masih ada bahan nih untuk nulis dari kedua sudut. Tapi kemudian kalian bisa mengenhance lagi atau menambahkan informasi-informasi supaya kalian bisa semakin terdengar apa ya, kuat gitu, firm argumen kalian dengan menambahkan info-info di hal yang kalian tidak setuju itu tadi. Oke, mungkin terpahami dikit ya.
Mhm. There's this question, and someone asked me like, for who the benefit is?
Ya.
Is it for the reader? But it's just the essay writing, not kind of something we're gonna publish in public. Yeah. So the idea of the task is for the examiner to know how well you write, right? How well you know, how well you express your opinions on certain things. So it's not about whether it's right or it is morally correct or morally wrong. It's about your English. So like on this slide, for example, so like where in Indonesia have you been that could help you answer this? So in this case, is that how so the how how tourism will benefit for people in Indonesia. So, for example, if you, let's say, oh, you've been to Bali and you want to use Bali as an example, so how tourism would benefit people in Bali, or how tourism has destroyed Bali, for example.
Hmm.
So it's not benefit for you, it's not benefit for the reader, it's not benefit for the IELTS examiner, but it's for the topic.
Hmm. Oke.
Yeah.
That is very enlightening. Ya, teman-teman jadi kayak paham, oh maksudnya gitu. Jadi kalian boleh banget loh ternyata pakai contoh-contoh yang relate, contoh kayak isu di Bali, di Indonesia. Kemudian kayak mungkin kalian punya contoh-contoh lokal yang kalian aja yang tahu di daerah kalian. Itu juga it's okay ya, Mister?
Ya.
Oke, it's really good. Jadi kalian nggak hanya cuman kayak, oh aku nggak sering baca koran. Itu nggak masalah juga ya. Even we don't really
Ya.
know about international news.
Ya.
Kita nggak begitu paham international news kayak gimana. Tapi kalian bisa pakai contoh-contoh karena itu juga adalah valid nih untuk opini kalian. Oke,
Mhm.
thank you,
So
Mr.
something that students usually ask is that whether it has to be something correct or not, as in like the data, if they have data, whether it is correct. No, it's not about whether it's correct. Let's say it's geographically correct or not, right?
Hmm,
The IELTS examiner is not gonna like literally or physically come to Bali and check whether it is true or not.
yeah,
It's not about, it's more about the writing, it's more
yeah.
about how you express your opinion and how you use your knowledge in English.
I see. So Intan have a question. Do I have to mencantumkan sumber? I mean, that's not really necessary.
Um, because you'll get random questions and you won't have access to your phone or the internet or your laptop
Mm-mm.
during the test. So I don't think you will
Have that
have the
information.
opportunity to find the source
Mm,
unless for some weird reason you get a question or a topic that you are expert in.
okay.
But that will, I think that's very unlikely to happen.
Okay. So even the tester will
Yes.
understand that if you
Yeah.
don't put sources on it.
Yeah.
Oke, jadi teman-teman, kalian akan dapat topik, kata Mr. Michael Arman, itu akan sangat random. Jadi, dan kalian juga nggak bisa punya akses ke laptop, nggak bisa punya akses ke HP kalian, dan lain-lain, internet. Jadi, kecuali kalian beneran expert nih, di topik yang tiba-tiba kalian dikasih, oh kalian suka banget sama manga gitu seandainya. Terus habis itu ternyata topiknya manga banget. Jadi kalian tahulah nama semua manga, nama ini, kalian tahu semua artikelnya, kalian mau nyantumin data, it's okay. But kalau seandainya memang tapi itu tidak terjadi, dan mungkin paling besar kemungkinannya tidak terjadi, IELTS itu tahu juga bahwa ini tuh bukan buat kayak bikin skripsi, nggak harus ada datanya, nggak harus ada sumber dan lain-lain, asalkan yang kalian masukkan itu valid dan juga sesuai dengan kayak keadaan yang ada sekarang. Oke? Oke, ini start.
Okay, so expressing opinion, it looks easy, right? Because I mean, people these days, yeah, I think we all have a lot of opinion on certain things, but of course, because this is a writing test and they are testing your English, that means you need to make sure that you know how to write your opinion correctly. Like this, I have some examples on how to introduce your arguments and opinions. You can use I think, I feel, I believe that, or I personally think. Again, this is your opinion, so always use I, right? The task two is about your opinion, so it's from your point of view. I personally agree with something, in my personal opinion, or from my point of view, my feeling, my belief, my point of view is that tourism is blah blah.
Okay.
You can say I take the view that, or I personally would take the view that, or I would take the view. So this is one of the ways to make sure that you can achieve that 250 words. So instead of saying that I think, those are just 2 words, but if you want to say, I personally would take the view that, that's already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words.
So, that's one good tips. Jadi belajar beberapa kata-kata yang kalian bisa gunakan untuk memperpanjang nih. Instead of cuman bilang I think, kalian bisa I personally would suggest that. Fancy. Oke, jangan lupa dicatat ya, atau nggak usah, karena nanti kita akan kirimkan materi ini buat kalian, jadi kalian bisa baca-baca ulang. Okay, we start. Do you have more tips for us?
I think that's it. So yeah, so one last slide for writing. So in task 2, you are expected to write 4 paragraphs. So it's similar
Same,
to
yeah.
task 1. But task 2, I think it's more structured. So of course, paragraph 1 is the introduction, refer to the question. So what is it about? And give your opinion. So you need to give opinion in the beginning first. Paragraph 2, the advantages. Paragraph 3 is the disadvantages. Again, for each advantage and disadvantages, give explanation or example. Can be usually like 2 examples, right? And the conclusion. Again, you need to restate your opinion. So if in the intro, you believe that tourism will bring more advantages, of course, in the conclusion, you still have to believe that, right? So like the paragraph 1, I think tourism will benefit lots of people in Bali, for example. And then the conclusion that and say that, but when I think about it, it turns out that tourism brings more.
Pretty bad.
Yeah, so don't do that. So if you believe in A, in conclusion, you still need to believe in A.
Okay. Oh, so it makes the coherence and
Yes,
cohesion ya,
exactly.
just like what we already talk about. Okay. Nah, itu teman-teman tadi. Ini adalah juga salah satu tips penting karena kalau kalian bingung nih apa aja yang harus ditulis, ternyata sebenarnya udah ada rumusnya. Jadi kalian nggak perlu mikir panjang-panjang jauh-jauh ngarang karena udah ada strukturnya tuh apa aja sih. Oh, di awal kalian cuma tinggal ganti aja pertanyaannya, tapi kalian juga ngasih opini kalian. Di yang kedua kalian kasih support data, di opini dan lain-lain. Yang tadi udah dikasih tahu sama Mr. Armand dan juga udah di-spill di sini di slide yang ada di IF. Jadi kalian bisa banget untuk pakai ini di next test wording kalian. Oke, Mister, last tips.
Last tip, the same thing. So task response, coherence and cohesion, your choice of words, and your grammatical range and accuracy.
Okay, yeah, true. So basically you have to have this skill to master both the tasks. Ada pertanyaan Mister dari Roland. What if I give my opinion in conclusion part, not in the intro?
Um, no,
No.
because like here, as a part of the introduction is that you need to give your point of view, right? So
Hmm.
what you think, like, um, again, it's to show the coherence and the cohesion of the whole text. So to make sure that if you agree, then the in the conclusion you
Oh,
still
I
agree.
see. Tapi mungkin I can understand kayak mungkin pertanyaan Roland kayak gini ya. Kita kan ada pertanyaan, tourism is okay or not?
Hmm.
And then kita masukin itu di paragraf satu. And then the second one, we say, well, there is someone that says tourism is good
Mhm.
because ABC. And then paragraf selanjutnya, there is tourism is bad ABC.
Mhm.
And then my conclusion is, I agree with paragraph 3 because I think it's better. Itu berarti nggak oke ya, Mister?
No.
No?
So the idea is that, okay, let's say you think that tourism brings more benefit, right? And then second paragraph, it is beneficial because of blah blah blah, and then paragraph three. Oh, but on the other hand, it brings more disadvantages because blah blah blah.
Hmm.
Now, in the conclusion is where you support your argument why, despite tourism brings disadvantages, you still think or you still believe that tourism will bring more benefit because and so on and so on and so
Oh, I see. Karena emang soalnya juga tentang how to you give
on.
your
Yeah,
opinion ya.
exactly.
Jadi yang mau dilihat adalah ya gimana kalian menjelaskan atau mensupport opini kalian di empat-empat ya, bukan cuma satu terakhir
Mm.
aja gitu. Oke, I hope that answers your question. Okay, that's really insightful. Thank you. So that's all about the writing
Yeah,
session.
yeah.
Oke, teman-teman. Nah, jadi itu tadi adalah soal writing session. Setelah ini kita akan bahas tipis-tipis soal speaking. But before that, Miss Vicky mau ngingetin dulu ke kalian bahwa nanti kalian akan dapat e-certificate yang akan dibagikan di akhir acara. Dan kita juga nanti akan ada lagi nih seminar di 1 bulan lagi. Dan masih dengan tetap Mr. Michael Arman ya?
Maybe.
Maybe, okay, it's a mystery. Jadi teman-teman kita masih akan tetap bahas IELTS dan nanti kalau saya kalian juga mau lanjut lagi nih, mau belajar lagi sama IF untuk tetap memperdalam supaya kalian semakin sempurna nanti ketika mengerjakan IELTS, bisa banget untuk join early bird. Nanti akan juga di-share linknya di akhir acara jika kalian mau register dari sekarang untuk bisa dapat seat juga di Zoom meeting bulan depan. Jadi kalian akan terus ke-upgrade nih. Dan juga tetap jangan lupa ya, tetap akan dapat sertifikat. Nah, teman-teman juga, Miss Vicky mau infokan bahwa IF, kebetulan mungkin kalian di sini ada yang udah penasaran, atau bahkan udah ada yang join IF, atau yang udah kepikiran nih, kayak aku pengen banget join IF, tapi nggak tahu caranya gimana, harganya berapa, ada promo atau enggak, kelasnya ada enggak nanti buat aku yang sesuai. Nah, itu gampang banget teman-teman. Untuk semua peserta yang ada di sini, kalian itu berhak untuk dapat konsultasi gratis sama IF. Jadi caranya gimana nih kalau seandainya aku mau klaim opportunity itu, Miss Vicky? Gampang banget, nanti di akhir acara juga akan dibagikan link survey. Dan di link survey itu akan ada pertanyaan nih, kira-kira kalian mau atau enggak dapat penawaran tentang IF. Kalian bisa langsung jawab aja iya, dan nanti teman-teman dari IF akan menghubungi kalian untuk mengschedulkan konsultasi gratis bersama teacher-teacher IF seperti Mr. Michael Armand hari ini. Oke teman-teman, jadi jangan lupa tetap stay sama kita sampai akhir acara. Jangan lupa juga kalau seandainya kalian mau muter lagi nih rekaman hari ini bisa banget diakses di YouTube-nya kita di IF Surabaya. Next, we will talk about speaking.
Speaking, let's
Okay, let's
see.
go speaking.
Okay, so speaking test. I personally think that speaking section is the easiest,
Mhm.
right? But I know that a lot of people are worried as well because either they're not confident in their speaking skills, or maybe they're not used to speak in
Iya.
English. Again, just like the writing, let's see what you know about the speaking section. So how many parts are there in the speaking section?
Oke, teman-teman coba. Let's see. Kalian tahu nggak kurang lebih tentang speaking section? Ada berapa parts? They all say three. C.
Okay.
Oke.
Again, I'll give you the answers at the end of the quiz. how long is the speaking section? So the whole section, like
Semuanya.
the writing section is 60 minutes, but how long is the speaking section?
D. 15 to 20 minutes, they say. Some of them say 8 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
And next question is, do you take the test with another student? So do you have a partner with you?
Oke. Kira-kira ngambil tesnya sendirian atau bareng-bareng sama orang? Okay, most of them say no, some of them say yes.
No, you are alone. So yes, you are taking it by yourself. So it's going to be you and your examiner. And then that's it.
Okay. Scary.
There are 3 parts, and the whole thing would take roughly 11 to 14 minutes. Someone said 8 minutes earlier. That was way too short. So 3 parts is beginning section. The whole thing is 11 to 14 minutes. Part 1 is the introduction and interview. That's roughly between 4 to 5 minutes. Part 2 is the monologue, 3 to 4 minutes. Monologue here, which means that you you say things. That's it. There's no questions. There's no answers. There's no discussions with the examiner. And part 3 is the discussion. It's between 4 to 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. Part 1 is the easiest, obviously. Introduction and interview. This is basically like a warmer, so that once you sit down, you have the examiner in front of you, not all of a sudden you have to talk about something difficult, like about animals, about nature, or about jobs. So it's just sort of like to warm you up. That's why the questions is just usually about you. It's
Oh.
about your hobbies, about your habits, about your life. So where are you from? What do you do? How long have you been studying English and so on?
Mhm.
And questions about shopping, hobbies. So have you ever been to a zoo or a wildlife park when you were a child? Did you think a lot about your future? How do you usually spend your weekends and so on? And make sure that although this is like an introduction and it's sort of a warmer, make sure that you don't just say one word answer. Like, oh, where are you from? Surabaya.
Malang.
What do you do? I'm a teacher.
I
Say,
am marketing.
yes, that's it. Like, have you ever been to a zoo? Yes.
No.
Right? So use full sentence. Like, okay, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Surabaya, but I was born in Malang or something like that, right? Like, have you ever been to a zoo? Oh, yes, I've been to a zoo and I went there with my parents.
Oh, ya,
Something like
ya,
that.
ya. Oke, that's a good tips. Ya, jadi teman-teman jangan cuma jawab pakai satu kata aja ya, yes, no. Kayak tadi, Mr. Michael sama Vicky. Jadi harus pakai full sentence, yes, I am, bla bla bla. Terus kemudian juga kalian mungkin bisa jelasin sedikit deskripsi lagi, pernah ke zoo nggak? Ya, sama siapa? Kalian suka lihat apa? Gitu-gitu bisa banget kalian bahas juga untuk memperpanjang. Oke.
Mm. Well, someone asked, so the questions are random, yeah, but like the first 3 questions are usually the same. So where are you from? What do you do? How long have you been studying English? But the questions about hobbies, work, entertainment are random.
Okay, I see. Okay, that's good to know. At least the task one
Yeah.
is not that hard.
No, it's not hard. It's just, again, it's to warm you up. It's to sort of like to loosen your lips so that you can do task 2 where you have to talk a lot. So task 2, so generally the examiner will give you a card, and on the card will be something like this, right? So describe someone you know who does something well. So you should say who this person is, how you know this person, what they do well, and explain why you think this person is so good at doing this. And then usually they will also give you like a piece of paper where you can write notes. So you will have to talk about the topic for 1 to 2 minutes. You have only 1 minute to think about what you're going to say. So you have 1 minute to think and just to write on this piece of paper. Of course, your notes is not going to be marked. It's just for you. And just write, like you want to write about your best friend, and your best friend is a president of a multinational companies or something like that. And then yeah, you need to explain why this person is so great at what he does.
Oh, so the card is random ya, Mister. It's not
Mhm.
always a person. It could be about what's your
Anything. Could be
favorite thing in
yeah,
life?
what your favorite things in life. Describe a place you've been that you really like the most, for
Oh,
example.
I see. Okay.
Um, Describe a job that you've had that you hate, that you hate the most, maybe something like that. Yeah.
Sometimes like that.
Yeah.
Oke, ya jadi teman-teman di tas kedua ini kalian akan dapat random kartu, isinya itu bisa jadi salah satu contohnya adalah yang di layar itu ya. Describe someone, kata Miss Arman juga bisa jadi yang lainnya juga kayak pekerjaan apa yang kalian pernah, yang kalian nggak suka, dan nanti kalian juga harus monolog nih tentang hal tersebut, right?
Mhm.
Oke, oke, Mister.
Okay. So in task 2, oh, sorry. So example of we will talk about each task.
Mister, maybe
Yeah,
wait a
sorry.
minute before task 3. There is a question from
Mhm.
Rachel. Untuk urutan pertanyaannya sendiri, apakah sebenarnya kita boleh menjawab urutan pertanyaan task 2 secara tidak berurutan? Kayak who this person is, how do you know this person, blah, blah, blah.
Well, this is a monologue, right? Where you have to describe someone. Of course, the first thing that you need to describe who this person is, right? You cannot just say that, oh, this person is a multinational, is a president of a multinational company who
And
is
then,
also my best friend. So of course, in a way that it also shows your train of thought as well. So
okay,
how you
like the
process the
flow.
information, like the flow of
Uh-huh.
your thought, actually. So how you think about something and how you say it.
Okay.
So it's not so much about randomly, but of course, like the first thing is who this person or what is it about, right? Um, so I don't know what this person meant by
But
randomly.
maybe like I can be like, mungkin seandainya aku mau ngejelasin tentang cermichael Armand gitu
Uh-huh.
ya. But I want to make it mysterious. So I start with he is very good with teaching English. He is very good with games, and he is actually a senior teacher. Blah blah blah, something like that. So it's like change the thought. Like, how do you think that is?
Um, if you use like lots of different words, that's fine. But then again, it's sort of like there's no cohesion. I mean, it's like you're sort of like jumping around topics.
Oke, I see. Oke, gitu ya teman-teman. Jadi mungkin untuk cari amannya, seandainya kalian memang udah pro nih di public speaking dan lain-lain, mungkin kalian bisa dengan percaya diri menjelaskan pertanyaan satu duluan daripada yang lainnya, bukan siapanya dulu, tapi mungkin kelebihannya dulu atau kayak gitu. Cuman itu akan jadi sedikit lebih jumping around nih kata Mr. Michael Arman. Jadi untuk save-nya dan juga emang kelihatan lebih bagus flow-nya, menjelaskan train of thought kalian, cara mikirnya kalian, itu dengan pertama menjelaskan ini tuh siapa, kenapa kalian suka sama dia, dan lain-lain, apa yang bagus dari dia, dan lain-lain kayak gitu. Itu akan lebih bagus jadi kalian latihannya kayak gitu, oke?
Yeah. Someone asked, what if it's more than 2 minutes? And then someone also asked, what if the examiner interrupts you? Again, so when the examiner interrupts you, which means that your monologue is longer than 2 minutes. Again, longer than 2 minutes can be two things. Can be it's good because you have lots of things to say, but sometimes it can also mean that it's not good because maybe in 2 minutes you don't really say a lot of things. You use lots of but things like that. So if it's in 2 minutes, you actually say a lot of things, that's fine. But if in 2 minutes if it's like, I mean, more than 2 minutes, but you have lots of pauses, and then that's why the examiner will interrupt you. Again, the goal of this is to know your English ability, not to let's say this one, right? So the examiner doesn't really want to know about your best friend, right? The examiner wants to know about your English ability. So even if your story is not done, that's fine.
Oke, I see. Ya, jadi nggak apa-apa kalau seandainya emang dipotong ya teman-teman. Karena mungkin examinernya udah paham kemampuan bahasa Inggrisnya tuh kalian seberapa. Karena sekali lagi ini bukan tentang isi yang kalian bahas, tapi tentang bagaimana kalian menggunakan bahasa Inggris. Oke?
All
Oke,
right.
Mister.
And then task 3.
Last one.
So task 3, the difference between task 2 and task 3 is that task 2 is monologue. So you talk the whole thing until the examiner interrupts you. In task 3 is the discussion between you and the examiner. So example questions. So what skills and abilities do people most want to have today? Or which skills do you think will be important in the future? Or which kinds of jobs have the highest salaries in your country? So they will usually give you one questions. When you give your answers, they will sort of like ask you more questions. And the follow-up questions are to sort of like also help you to sort of like to make sure that you explain your answers, to sort of like dig more information, what you understand about this topic.
Okay.
So there's a discussion between you and the examiner.
Okay. About the previous topic
About,
and
yes.
more sharp questions. Okay, so Mister, maybe you really want to give me one tips, because what if there's a question like this one? Which kind of job have the highest salaries in your country and you don't know? Well, maybe we want to prepare some stuff, right? We know stuff, but like there is this odd moment when we just don't know the answer. What should we do?
Again, the same thing. This is about how you answer in English. It's not about whether it is correct or not. So for example, so which kind of job have the highest salaries in your country? And your answers are like, well, from what I understand, teacher has the highest salaries in Indonesia. We all know that's a lie. But what they're looking for is how you answer. So your choice of words, not whether it is true or not.
Okay, I see. Oke, nah itu juga salah satunya teman-teman. Jadi kalian nggak perlu OVT ya. Mikirnya kayak, aduh aku nggak tahu lagi tentang dunia ini. Atau apalagi pertanyaannya so spesifik, nggak pernah baca koran dan lain-lain. It's okay, karena sekali lagi kata Mr. Michael Armand, seandainya kalian memang nggak tahu, lebih baik kalian kinda like berusaha terlihat yakin and kinda made it up.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Make it up. Jadi yang penting kalian menunjukkan bahwa this is how I speak English. Itu yang paling penting untuk di speaking test ini. Okay.
Like, yeah, let's say, so which skills do you think will be important in the future? We're going to say, oh, I think gaming skills is, the most important skill in the future. That's fine as long as you can
Oh ya,
explain.
true. Iya kan, nggak apa-apa juga kalau seandainya ditanya, kira-kira skill apa yang paling penting? Ya main game sekarang paling penting. Tapi kita bisa ngasih support idea nih. Belum
Yes.
tentu memang si examinernya ngerasa bahwa, ya enggak lah, mungkin communication skill yang paling penting. Tapi it's not the point. Bukan kita berusaha membuat examinernya itu berpikir seperti kita, tapi kita firm sama keputusan kita dan ngasih tahu alasannya kenapa. Like that. Okay?
So very similar to writing. So how is the speaking scored? Yeah, fluency and coherence. So this is what I meant earlier by like, answering the questions should be in order in a way so that your answers is not like jumping around. Lexical resource, again, your grammatical range and accuracy, and also pronunciation.
Okay.
In speaking as well, especially in like in international tests like this, pronunciation doesn't mean accent. Accent and pronunciation are two different things. As pronounce things correctly, you have the right intonation. You don't need to sound British. You don't need to sound American, as long as your pronunciation is correct.
I see.
So you don't get lower score just because you don't sound American.
Oh, okay. Penting juga ya. So if you try your British accent, it doesn't add more points.
If you try to sound like Harry Potter, but you pronounce things wrongly,
Yeah.
then you will get bad scores.
Okay, so jadi teman-teman nggak perlu kayak water, I drink Harry Potter. Itu nggak perlu juga nggak apa-apa. Jadi kalian nggak harus belajar banget aksen British. Seandainya kalian, oh cita-citaku dapat speaking yang 7 gitu di skor IELTS, it's okay. Jadi yang penting pronunciation-nya kalian correct dan nggak loncat-loncat ya antara aksen misalkan. Jadi kadang-kadang kalian Australia, kadang-kadang kalian British, kadang-kadang American. It will just make you sound like you don't know how to pronounce it. Jadi lebih baik mana yang paling comfortable buat kalian, yang itu akan memberikan skor yang terbaik buat kalian.
Yeah. And yeah, so just a few tips how to answer IELTS questions. You don't memorize answers again because the questions are random anyway, so there's no point of memorizing. Like what are you going to do? Are you going to read the whole like a month worth of newspapers to make sure that you know all the topics? No, don't do that. But give full answers. So don't just say yes, no, I like cooking. That's it. No,
Ya.
give full answer. Explain it why. Talk as fluently as possible. Fluently as possible means that correct pronunciation. Don't pause too much. And give relevant responses. So if the question is A, you answer with A. So don't. So if the question is like, what's your hobby, and you answer about, oh, I like Chinese food.
Ya, nggak nyambung.
Use descriptive words to describe your answers. Speak more than the examiner because they are testing your speaking skills. So in the task 3, if the examiner ends up having to talk more because they are trying to get more from you, that means you will not get good scores.
You're
Yeah?
doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong.
Okay. Interesting question from Aklisa. Maybe you can see. So for task 3, we can steer the topic of the discussion to what we know most.
Can we steer the topic of discussion to what we know most? No, because well, the question is this, right? If the question is about job, how do you steer job into animals? I don't think that is possible. So the idea is that if you don't know anything about economy, right? For example, you don't know about economy, so just say it. So, oh, well, I'm not, let's say something like, I'm not really sure about this because I'm not interested in economy, blah blah blah. But from what I've seen, there are more poor people because I'm sorry. So
Oh,
if you don't understand, you can make it up, but I think it's just be honest. That's fine as well because
okay.
that means that the examiner can see, oh yeah, okay, he doesn't know about about this topic, but he can say it well. Why?
I see. Kalian juga bisa langsung jawab kayak gitu ya. Aku nggak tahu tentang ekonomi, cuman yang aku tahu lah tentang ya di Indonesia ekonominya bla bla bla, di negara lain bla bla bla. Tapi kalau seandainya kalian udah selesai ya udah gitu, it's okay. Nanti mungkin akan topiknya diganti ke yang lainnya. Oke, everyone, wow, it is a very dari tadi topik tipsnya menarik-menarik ya dan nggak kerasa kita udah lewat di 17 menit dari waktu yang udah seharusnya. Mungkin kita harap semuanya udah paham ya apa yang tadi dijelaskan sama Mr. Michael Armand di sini. Dan juga tentu aja kalian bisa banget untuk akses terus recordingnya. Mungkin ada lagi yang mau ditambahkan sama Mr. Armand?
No, this is just like a final slide
Mhm.
of the scores. So
Oke.
this is like the band that you can get.
Mhm.
So 0 means you did not attempt the test, means that either you don't come to the test
Mhm.
or you don't answer the questions at all. Means that you'll get 0. 1, if you only say random words, just words, not sentences. 2, you don't understand the questions. So of course, if you don't understand the question, it means that you won't be able to answer correctly
Okay.
and so on.
So like what score you want?
Well, we of course we try to aim for the highest score, right?
Mhm. But like the normal
Normally we competent, so we've been six and
competence,
seven would be good. 6 and
6 and 7.
7.
Oke, nah jadi teman-teman pengen 6 and 7 and usually like the university or the office, good office 1 7
1 7,
or
yeah.
6.5.
Yeah, 6 point because 6 means that you have an effective uh, command of language despite some inaccuracies. So
Mhm.
your speaking is not perfect. There are
Mhm.
few mistakes, inappropriate usage, and a bit of misunderstandings. You still get
Mm.
6. So in a way that it's actually not very strict.
Oke, I see. Jadi teman-teman juga kalian udah tahu ya kira-kira goalnya IELTS nanti mau dapat skor berapa, mau 6 atau biasanya kalau seandainya kalian mau masuk university di luar negeri, itu juga udah jelas IELTS-nya mereka minta minimal berapa nih, 5,5, 6,5 atau bahkan 7 kadang-kadang universitas. Nah, itu tadi kalau seandainya kalian juga mau tahu dulu nih, waduh, tapi kalau speaking aku latihannya sama siapa ya? Soalnya kan kalau writing kalau reading dan lain-lain masih bisa nyari di Google nih, masih bisa dapat-dapat soalnya. Tapi kalau speaking kan harus ada yang ngedengerin aku dan expert kayak gimana. Nah, itu juga tadi termasuk sama fasilitas yang kita tawarin di hari ini. Jadi teman-teman akan dapat konsultasi gratis nih sama IF, which means nanti teman-teman akan ngobrol langsung sama teacher IF dan pertanyaannya tuh yang seputar apa yang ada di tas 2 tadi loh, oh tas 1. Jadi kayak where do you come from, where do you live, dan lain-lain. Dan nanti setelah speaking test dan juga konsultasi itu tadi, kalian juga akan dikasih tahu kira-kira kemampuan bahasa Inggris kalian tuh seberapa. Jadi teman-teman bisa lebih pede lagi, seandainya nanti mau menentukan kira-kira bagian apa lagi sih yang mau kalian improve di bahasa Inggris kalian, apa grammar kalian yang belum oke, atau vocab kalian yang perlu ditingkatkan, atau kalian mungkin memang harus lebih sering ngobrol bahasa Inggrisnya, pronunciation-nya, dan lain-lain. Itu nanti akan ketahuan semua. Jadi bisa banget untuk tanya-tanya aja. Nah, setelah ini akan di-share sama rekannya Miss Vicky di kolom komentar, baik YouTube maupun Zoom, untuk link e-certificate dan juga untuk link survei. Dan termasuk di link survei itu adalah pertanyaan apakah kalian mau dapat promo dari IF. Tinggal jawab aja di situ ya teman-teman. Mr. Michael Armand, do you want to say anything else before we
No,
close?
yeah, well, I think when it comes to speaking, just need a lot of practice. So you need to listen to people speaking, or like, I mean, at these days you can just go to um, YouTube.
Yeah.
You can listen to podcasts as well. So how they speak, the intonation, so on. So with
So
speaking,
you
like,
mimic.
yes. So this is the reason why I think the speaking is the easiest part because
Mhm.
it is easy to learn. You can
Okay.
listen to other people and then just use it in your own speaking.
Oke, oke, that's actually good positive tips dari Mr. Arman. Kalian bisa dengerin podcast, kalian bisa lihat YouTube dan membiasakan ngelihat orang ngomong bahasa Inggris atau menyemplungkan diri kalian di environment yang banyak bahasa Inggrisnya, itu akan ngebantu banget karena itu paling gampang. Kalian dapat knowledge itu secara natural ya. Kayak bayi terekspos, jadi kalian akan menyerap kayak gitu. Oke, thank you so much Mr. Michael Arman for today.
Thank you. No worries.
Yeah, it was very fun and then also like very full with tips. Kita berharap kalian juga semakin paham dan juga bisa mendapatkan ilmu-ilmu baru dengan hadir di sini dan kita juga pengen ketemu lagi sama kalian di 1 bulan lagi untuk membahas soal IELTS selanjutnya. Okay, everyone, if you still have questions that we haven't answered, we will answer you later in probably YouTube, TikTok, atau Instagram. Jadi tetap stay tune sama IF Surabaya untuk tetap ketemu dan tetap catch up sama kalian. We will see you for now. We will say goodbye and then let's meet in next time. Bye-bye.
Yes. Oh.